Condors Unleashed, Bakersfield.com. My 45 as well every Saturday at 11:30.
Look at you guys. Are you two brothers?
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah. It is nice.
Yeah. Just trying to look sharp here.
Just trying to be part of the team. Wearing the logo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like it.
I mean, how great is that logo, though? I mean, blue
It's
and
awesome.
orange.
Yeah,
It
is
pops.
I mean, as soon as the logo switch happened, I was like, it's just natural. I love it.
Brings out your eyes.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's great. This is Condors Head Coach Gerry Fleming, and apparently a very smooth talker as well.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, 11:30 a.m., abbreviated version of Condors Unleashed on My 45. We're also live every Tuesday, 2 to 3 p.m. on Bakersfield.com. You can catch us on Condors.tv as well all throughout the week. So no shortage of places where you can see the Condors this week or every week. Didn't you have a moment where someone said they saw you on TV here this past
Yeah,
week?
it was Brenda, the meat counter woman at Albertsons. The Albertsons I go to, she said.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about that?
Yeah, it was great. She said she saw me there.
You're like a celebrity.
You're
Yeah,
famous.
Yeah, infamous maybe.
Condors hit the road this week, but last weekend the Condors at home against San Diego, and we talked about it prior to the game, Gerry, but I think the Condors needed a game like Saturday just to get the confidence going and to realize that, hey, we can put a team away and we can dominate a full 60 minutes here.
Yeah, it was important for us. It was important for our morale. I think that we've been playing some pretty good hockey. We just haven't been rewarded for our efforts. We made a few mistakes and they've cost us, but to get that win on Saturday night was nice.
What are you saying right there?
I'm saying go score a goal, Millsy.
It was pretty basic. Just put the puck in the back of the net.
that's it.
It's a simple game.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Holty and I were talking a couple of days ago about the Ontario game. A great game, just a couple of minutes where the game just got away from you. I've always, you don't have very many timeouts. How do you decide when's a good time to use them?
We thought about it. Like the first goal happened at 5:20, and then the next goal happened like a few seconds later, and JF and I looked at each other, and it's like, let's just get in because, if you have a challenge, you might need that challenge. You need that timeout to have the
Right.
challenge. We don't know where we're going to be at. You only get one timeout. There's TV when we're going into the room, so we thought we would weather the storm, and we did. We had two glorious chances to score there right at the end of the period where JJ hit the post, and then I think there shortly after we picked it up, and Budai made a great save. But, it's a touchy area. Like you want to hold on to your timeout for the right time, and if that would have been maybe at the 10-minute mark of the second period, I think I would have called the timeout just to regroup. But going into the period or going into the end of the period and going into the dressing room, I think I wanted to hold on to it, and so that's why I didn't call.
Well, you
it.
bring up a good
the
point.
challenge has even
Yeah.
played into this whole timeout
Exactly,
thing because now you
exactly.
can challenge things like offside.
That's right. If you don't have your timeout, you can't challenge. And you can't challenge an offside. You can only challenge a goal,
yes.
goal or
Goal.
goalie interference.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Very
that's,
good factors
that
going
was
into
my logic behind that. Yeah, but we did discuss it really quick.
Yeah.
You also look at that game Saturday night. Everyone will look at the box score: 141 penalty minutes, a little bit of a line brawl going on in Condorstown. But I liked your quote post game. You liked the way the guys stood up for each other in that game, regardless of what happened. But for everyone to kind of come together in that contest.
Yeah, I don't think we have a legitimate heavyweight, so we got to have that pack mentality that if one's in trouble, we're all in trouble. So we get in there, and I was really proud of the way they stood up for one another. They didn't back down and they just pushed back. So it was good to see.
Yeah, San Diego was really kind of pushing the issue down around the cage, getting a little physical, bumping around LB a little bit. At one point, he got into a shoving match with one of their forwards
exactly,
too, which you don't see every day. So, did it feel like that was kind of their MO going into that game?
Well, they're a big, strong, physical team. A lot of teams do that now. They crash in that, and it was something that we addressed all week. We wanted to own the blue and paint offensively. We wanted to dominate our blue paint defensively. So it was an area that we worked on all week, that we talked about, that we showed video about, and it was one of the areas that we had breakdowns, especially in the Ontario game. Like a couple of those rebounds are right in the blue paint, and they score. So our emphasis, is always like dominating, having your nose over the paint, having your nose over the puck, and whacking offensively and defensively. Nobody gets in that blue paint. So I thought we did a good job defending that area.
It's not easy being a head coach in the American Hockey League. You never know what your roster is going to be from week to week here. And a little injury up in the National Hockey League. Justin Schultz goes down. Now a recall comes from Darnell Nurse, but even without the injury, it's kind of a deserved recall, I think, for Darnell and the way he's performed over the first couple of weeks here in Condors Town.
He's probably been our most consistent D-man. He's a big guy. He kills the cycle offensively. He jumps up on the rush. He clears the front of the net. He activates at the right times offensively in the O zone. So there's a lot of good things in Darnell's game, and you're right. It was well deserved, and hopefully he can go out there and perform well tonight.
A lot of times people look at a guy like Darnell, they see his size, they expect him to be throwing the big hits and everything, but he's really more of a positional guy, isn't he? He's in position as opposed to having to recover and throw his weight into the play.
That's one of the things that we've been talking about. Like, he had a tendency early, even last year, and he's really kind of let the game come to him more, where he would go take himself out of position to make a big hit. It was something that we really wanted to focus on. He's done a lot better job this year of understanding, where we're at in the game, playing the game within the game, and letting the game come to him a lot more.
For a lot of these guys, is this really their first experience with being taught the game in the sense of, really structural stuff and elements that maybe they hadn't learned in the past?
Well, I think all coaches, implement systems, implement structures, fundamentals of the game, and I'm sure Darnell's received some good coaching along the way because he wouldn't be this good of a player had he not. But there's always a little more emphasis on the pro game because the space between your opponent and you get closer, if that makes any kind of sense. Yeah. Where in junior, you're playing as a 19-year-old, you're playing against 16-year-olds, and there's a big gap there.
Just even physically.
Exactly. So when you get to the pro game, the gap is closer. You're playing against guys that are your size, guys that are good hockey players. If not, they wouldn't be drafted, and guys that are trying to get to the NHL. So they're going to go out and compete hard every night, and that's what you try to prepare guys for, and just understanding the pro game and all the nuances that go into that, your preparation, your day planning, your practice habits, your video, the way you come to the gym, the way you work out, all of those things are things that guys need to learn.
Speaking of video,
we do have video.
We do.
Let's break it down. We're going to talk about breakouts, I think.
Yeah, I love to talk about breakouts. Show me a team that scores a lot of goals, and I'll show you a team that gets out of their zone well.
You're absolutely right. I know, and I mean that sincerely. You're absolutely right. We have a philosophy, and I think I've mentioned this before. Yes. We want to be 80-20. 80% of the time breaking out of the puck in D-zone coverage, 20% of the time in actual D-zone coverage. And I think if you have that mindset, that if you can move the puck out of your zone quickly, get it through the neutral zone, get on the attack, establish an attack, I think that's paramount in helping your team win games.
All right, so what do we have?
First one here, we're just it's a quick exchange with our goaltender. Once our goaltender comes out to play the puck.
Go back.
If we can go back.
Go back.
As soon as our goaltender comes out to play the puck, the number one thing we're looking for is we don't want to bring the forechecker to the goaltender. Obviously, if there's separation, you obviously want it in your defenseman's hands as opposed to your goaltender's hands. But in this case, a goaltender comes out to play it. Moose makes himself available, and we have calls for that too. It's either a set it, a back, or an over. In this instance, if it was a set, he would just leave the puck there. Moose would come back and pick it up. If it was a back, Moose would be in this area right here. He would throw it back to him. In this case, it's an over. Puck came in this side. We kick it over to Moose.
Who's calling that?
The defenseman.
Okay.
The defenseman
so
calls
he's
it.
Yelling out set.
At this particular point, he yelled over.
Right.
So LB makes a nice crisp pass. We don't hesitate with the puck if you can run it here. It's just a nice long stretch pass. We asked our guys to stretch. We got our centerman coming back down on the puck to make himself available. If you can see it, we get the call over. Moose checks his shoulders, checks it again. Now, if you can pause it, we have our centerman coming underneath the puck. If there's a bump back right there, and we've got support coming across for a little chip play.
Awesome.
Run it. We chip it in. They have the good ice right now. They own the good ice. They're playing on the inside. But if you let that clip run just a little bit.
I think that's all we have.
I think it ends.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
But good support on both ends.
Exactly. And then we go right into the attack.
It's nice.
Yeah. Do we have another one? I think we have another
I think
one.
that's it.
Okay.
But, certainly breakouts have been important for this Condors team, I think, because the one game where you noticed it was, I think the breakout is most important when you're not noticing it because you're able to break the puck out of your hand.
Normally if you're noticing it, there's turnovers and you're not coming out as clean as you'd want to, and that's where teams take advantage of. If you can cause turn, and that's something that we emphasize: hound the puck offensively, get on the puck, force the other team to make good plays, eliminate time and space quickly with a good stick, and then go through the body physically so they don't jump past you in case the puck does they do make a play that guy's eliminated from jumping past you and creating an odd man rush. So there's a lot of things that go into breaking the puck out well to be said for your hockey team if they're having success.
We've talked all season long about the Pacific Division, the rivalries in California out here. Well, our first look at Texas this week, and there's been a big rivalry with the Texas Stars from the last couple of years for this Oilers organization.
Yeah, it sure has. Like if you even go back when the Oilers had their good teams and Dallas had their good teams, they always kind of seemed to meet in the playoffs, and that carried over with us when we went to Oklahoma City. It was a 6-hour bus ride to Austin, and the games were always intense. Always,
and that was a close game.
Yeah, that was one of the closest.
6-hour bus ride. That's the
that was the closest.
Yeah. No, but there's definitely a history there, and I'm sure we'll rekindle that on Friday night.
And you're getting a good team too in this Texas squad. They've
year.
had a good start.
Every year they put a quality product on the ice. They have good young players in their organization. They play hard. They're well coached. And they play a little bit tougher at home. That's a tough building to play in, so it'll be a good challenge for us, but I'm sure we're up for it.
You bringing your Halloween costume on the road?
This is my Halloween costume.
Come on!
Yeah.
What's been all right?
It's a surprise. It's a surprise. I can't let you know.
What's your favorite Halloween costume from years past? Maybe when you were growing up. Or
my goodness!
Was this a big holiday for Gerry Fleming?
Not really. I like to. Not since I was a kid, I guess. I really can't think of a costume that I've worn to a Halloween party that has ever won a Halloween costume. I've been a judge in Alaska one year. We spent Halloween there, and we were at Humpy's. Remember?
Oh yeah.
They
Great fish.
They had a Halloween costume one night, and then they asked me to be a judge. And one of the two finalists I do remember was the Great Gazoo. Remember the Great Gazoo?
Yeah, sure.
And funny enough, was Fred Flintstone. A guy was dressed up like Fred Flintstone.
Fantastic.
It was great.
Perfect.
It was really good.
All right, so see, that's a good Halloween story.
Yeah.
Jerry, appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
thanks,
Coach.
It was a pleasure.
Condors.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
In Texas, and big road trip coming back on November the 14th. Military night, Marine jerseys. We'll auction off 5 for charity. We'll auction off the entire set, and we'll give away 5 as well, all for charity.
Easy for you to say.
On November the 14th. Coming up, Andrew Miller will join us. We'll chat with him about his busy week in Edmonton and Condors Town. That's coming up next. Bakersfield.